so
Yeah.
it's so much different than I mean, now look at me I'm trying to reinvent myself around my glasses after so many years.
Hey, and that's awesome too. Like I'm wearing glasses right now, and I still need to find the right style. But hey, man, blue blockers,
Dude,
prescription.
if I could get a pair of blue blockers in prescription, I'd be rip roaring and ready to go. There'd be no stopping me.
Yeah, dude. I mean, your logo would be like the guy who hosts Sports Center, but with hair.
Dude, I would. Oh, Scott Van Pelt. Oh, heck yeah,
Yeah,
man. I go
yeah.
SV, dude. I would totally rock the SVP logo. I honestly thought about that when I was doing it. I'm like, I wanted the glass. I'm like, do I put headphones on him?
Do it.
I
Yeah.
don't know if it would work. Like my mom's an artist, and I sort of told her to like kind of rile in the hair and the beard a little bit, so I look a little less, you know, a
A
little
little
less,
less.
a little less woodsman
Ah, yeah.
and more,
Oh, that's.
more classy, aesthetically pleasing working type fellow than backward chic.
Well, I tell you what, it's a good look for you, and it's a great thumbnail icon for social media. Uh,
It only took 10 years of me trying to figure out what should I do with this. What should I do? You know what? Why not just embrace the four eyes?
just lean into it. But I tell you what, like, creatively, it's a process, man. It's never a straight line. And if you talk to successful creatives, and these are people who wrote books or they act in movies or they run YouTube channels or podcasts, it's never a straight line to success. And there's always
Yeah.
this years long process. I'm in the middle of it myself, and I've rebranded the Justice League, or Extra Life team maybe half a dozen times, and I'm still working on it.
It's all. I
And
mean, I'll tell you this. Those logos over the. I happened to pull up the page when we were talking, and I saw some of those older designs, and it's like, oh yeah, I remember that. I remember that. I remember that exactly. I remember those days.
yeah.
I have the first Rough Draft T-shirt.
Oh my goodness,
I have
dude.
I
Yeah.
have the blue one from back in the day.
We still have a box full of those. They're the
You
legacy
wanna
shirts.
you should send those out as thank yous for this record breaking year if you got a box of them still.
That's a great idea. It's just that the logo is it's the old logo, so it's definitely vintage.
Tell them
I
it's
think you're right.
It's retro.
If,
You know what's the running joke? What is it?
exactly.
Futurama, where it's like we rebranded as New Slurm, and then when it bombs, we bring back the old stuff and call it Old Slurm or something like that. Or no, New Slurm because it's a play on New Coke. That's what it was.
Yeah, yeah. It reminded me of when Crystal Pepsi came out in the early '90s,
Yeah,
and no one loved it.
no one
And
liked
then
it.
they were like, "Okay, we're going back to the classic," and you're like, "Ah, cool."
That's what. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
I got you. You'll get rid of that box in 10 seconds.
Yeah, I would love to do that as incentive, but we moved on to Stream Elements, and that helps us with alerts and things on our Twitch stream for our team on Sundays. But they also allow you to add merch, so you upload a design, and they take a cut of the profits, but you set the price, and obviously the higher the cost, the more profit margin you have. But that's what we moved on to. But I would love to do a legacy shirt
That'd be
and
awesome.
just get people like, hey, this is retro and it's completely on purpose. These shirts aren't 6 years old. Now,
Don't
but
tell
yeah,
don't tell them that. They'll hear the word retro and get all excited.
we'll edit that out in post. Like, no
Yeah,
one
don't
will
worry. I
know.
got you. We'll remove that entire segment. What are you talking about? Nothing to see here.
Yeah, but if I may, like, just to kind of put a bow on the whole Extra Life thing,
Yeah.
for anybody that's watching or listening to this, just kind of being like, what the heck is going on? Video games. Extra Life is by far one of the most worthwhile things I've ever done, and I couldn't have pictured doing it for over a decade, but it just made sense, and we just keep meeting people at the hospital that work at the hospital that have been patients, and it just reminds you what it's all about. And for Extra Life, if you're interested, you can go to extra-life.org and you can sign up for free and you can join a team, you can create a team, and you pick a hospital. Could be local, could be something, personal attachment. You knew someone that received care there, could have been yourself even. And you just get the word out from there. And the Extra Life site is very good at giving you opportunities to share posts on social media, send out email campaigns, bulk emails out to friends and family. They give you a lot of tools to succeed, and that's why it's growing too. They put things in your hands, and it's really what you make of it. And at that point, it's just being fearless and not being afraid to ask, and realizing that, when it comes to charity or a lot of things in life, you know usually the problem isn't that we ask too much, it's that we're not asking enough. And I think that, especially now with people distracted and busy, and technology's part of that, COVID's part of that, people need to hear things 3 or 4 times because they'll miss it the first couple of times. And that's when we think, oh, we're over communicating. No, no, no. Just keep putting it out there, and being polite, and inviting people to join you in this story of healing kids. And that's really what it's about. So if anyone's interested, if anyone reaches out to either of us, whatever that looks like, we'd love to have you on our team, but more so than that, just love to have you involved in some way.
Yeah, I mean, I was going to say, do you have anything to plug? But I think you did that without me asking.
It
Thanks.
was before I forgot.
You saved me that sentence.
Well, I wanted to say it before I went on a rabbit trail about Nintendo mascots, or something random, because what's going to happen.
You know me so well.
Yeah, I was going to circle back to and tie everything into the Mandalorian season 2 somehow, or.
It's all about
no.
It's about the baby.
It's a walking meme. Yeah, it's
he prints his own money, Morty.
Yeah, dude.
It's astounding. Who'd have thunk? I don't know where that came. I don't know where that came from.
I feel.
I don't know where
we'll roll with it.
Old Jewish guy came out talking to his grandson Morty about the Mandalorian came from. I don't know.
Well, I tell you what, like, gaming has kind of been at the forefront of geek culture becoming pop culture, and pop culture used to mean something different, and now it is full on geek culture.
There is nothing weirder to me is seeing big honking guys who are linebackers, or we were in high school. We've done high school ministry together. Like the popular kids who are like in the Leatherman's jackets, who will literally spend nothing but 20 minutes talking about Call of Duty and Iron Man. That wasn't the norm until I guess the last 10 years. When I was a freshman in high school, it kind of blended together, but that wasn't the norm.
You're completely right, man. You're absolutely 100% right there, because people just had different things to focus on back then. And you know what? Like I said before, no one's ever like called out like Extra Life would be like as a charity, like really like not being able to bridge that gap. That has never happened. Like everyone sees the value in it. But having said that, like sometimes taking away the charity part of it, just the gaming, I think that older generations look at gaming and just judge it, but by their logic, it's like, okay, well, it really doesn't matter whether a teenager spends 3 hours in the evening playing Call of Duty, or if his mom is watching, a Shondaland show, for 3 hours on Netflix. It's still time in front of a screen. And so I think people, and this happens with every new up and coming medium. It's the same thing with TV, a century ago, or less than a century ago, calling it the devil box, or, the movie industry.
When I think my generation kind of got more of this too was, you were in college, but like the influx of like, in the 90s, you had the influx of Eastern media then coming into pop culture. So you had Pokemon, Digimon, Dragon Ball Z got popular. Sailor Moon was still picking
Sailor
up.
Moon.
Sailor Moon.
That was the big one in the afternoons.
Yeah, you can, if you don't believe us, you can look this up. There were, so back then you had the evangelical like televangelists who would literally go on and just constantly be denouncing everything popular and everything, and just being like, this is the work of the devil. You remember this stuff. Like, you're getting stuff like that was ingrained in culture, just getting bombarded by saying, like, don't let your kids trade the Pokemon cards, trading cards and video games and everything else, because just the stuff came, like, seemingly overnight and ingrained culture so much to where it took years for it to kind of be like, oh, this stuff isn't that bad. I mean, there's still pushback, but it's not what it was by any stretch of the imagination.
Yeah, and there's something interesting about the intent and the value of that, because I mean it goes back at least to Mortal Kombat coming out on the home consoles, where you've got congressmen and a future vice presidential candidate in what was his name, Joe Lieberman.
Lieberman?
He was.
Oh wow!
Yeah, he was coming out and saying. Right? He came out and said Mortal Kombat's terrible. This awful old full motion video game, Night Trap, for the Sega CD, and the PC. Like, this is a terrible game, and they're passing off judgments on these games, and the quality of them is very questionable. In the case of Night Trap. But Mortal Kombat is quality. It's popular,
Yeah,
but,
even back then.
But they're decrying it, and they're saying, like, okay, Mortal Kombat is in the hands of millions of kids, and it's just treating them. It's potentially training their developing brains to think of violence more often than maybe they should. And I think there is something to be said for that. But at the very same time, I saw, like, probably worse, just like seeing what movie was on, like, local channels. If I was hanging out with my buddy,
right.
like, just awful horror movies that were super cheesy and super gory for no reason.
Oh yeah, I remember just those.
Like what? So, but
the
no one.
Of,
no.
Yeah, the sense of violence. Very, I remember the. It's gonna get weird. I remember the. Do you remember Jim Carrey's Grinch, right?
I do. I'm partial to the original, but I acknowledge its existence.
You know the scene where he's trying to scare Taylor Morrison in the thing, and she just sort of laughs, and he stops, literally deadpans, looks straight in the camera, and goes, "Kids these days, desensitized by television and video games," and he literally stares into the camera. And I remember watching that like years later, and I'm thinking, oh my gosh, that line, now it kills me every time, because back in 2002 when that came out, that was the joke, that kids these days wouldn't understand what fear was, because
that's right.
They're taking everything in, and it's just like, oh, she's laughing. Why is she laughing? Video games are evil, and making
but
jokes.
when Lieberman was talking to, I guess there was a briefing or a panel or something like that, and he's speaking at it, and there's a Senate hearing to determine all these things, and it's like, okay, no one's doing this about, Deadly Friend 4 that's playing on Channel 50 at midnight. It's just
Channel
because...
50, oh, now we're talking.
Yeah, UPN, Metro Detroit. But yeah, people...
Oh, 13, okay.
They're just gravitating toward... Yeah, it was LA's... It was Detroit's version of My 13, yeah.
I gotcha, yeah.
Yeah, but because it's video games, because it's the flavor of the week, because it's the new up-and-coming medium... People are all about that, and it's like, guys, there were some straight garbo movies that came out in the 80s and 90s, and that's just what people are used to. But gaming is still new, so let's pick on that. Now, to be fair, I think the best thing that came out of those Senate hearings, were the ESRB ratings.
Yeah, that's something that you desperately needed.
Yeah, it was like Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom for movies on steroids, where there wasn't a PG-13 rating, and there's like heart sacrifices and voodoo, ceremonies and rituals and stuff, and
wasn't that
like gaming?
Didn't Star
gaming
Wars
needs
have
something
with that? I know we're talking about I'm bouncing back and forth, but
Star Wars, I don't think so. I know
wasn't that it was originally gonna get a G rating, but they had to put a swear word in there so it wasn't G, because back when the original Star Wars came out, it was, I think, G, PG, and I think R. And that, I know it's like Lucas worked on both of them, but I don't remember. I don't remember like the timeline of like which one it was, like how it all worked out.
A lot of it comes down to just where the creator is at that time of life. Like Spielberg and Lucas were both going through like the ends of their first marriages. And it just, things weren't going that well, and so like Spielberg and Lucas, they developed a story. It was a prequel, to Indiana Jones. It took place before Raiders of the Lost Ark, and that's just where they were.
Insanely dark.
Indy was unrefined, and that's saying something, but he just he just had some weird stuff to go through, and then you get Data from the Goonies to be Short Round,
Yeah, no
and you
kidding.
get and then Willie. She's not a great character, but
No.
her character was written that way. But as an actress, she's great, and I think Spielberg ended up marrying her, and they're still married. So
Yeah.
it worked out well for him personally. But before that, when he was developing the story, there's just some dark stuff, and it raises questions of same thing with game developers and directors and producers and screenwriters now. Like, what's popular? Like, what are you putting out there into the world? But
Yeah.
then also, and I think we're kind of realizing this as a nation right now. It's like, okay, hold on a second. Like, we're elevating this stuff up to begin with. They know what we want,
Yep.
in terms of entertainment, in terms of social media, in terms of politics. And it's like, hold on a second. Like, we're the problem because like we're the ones spending money in the box office or voting for this person or promoting this thing. And it's like, okay, there does need to be some type of standard, not a restriction, but a standard of, okay, this is what this is rated, this is the content, whether it helps parents or it helps young people discern, like, okay, I know I'm not a horror movie fan, so that's not a hill I'm gonna die on,
Exactly.
right? So
Unless it's Resident Evil.
that reminds me of
And
something,
And our nine
and
foot mistress.
I'm going to be so sorry I mentioned this, but there is
no.
a song out there, and it name drops Resident Evil. Do you remember the dance group Eiffel 65?
It sounds vaguely familiar.
Okay, they did that song, Blue. Do you remember
Okay.
that song? I'm blue, dabba dee dabba die.
Yes.
Dabba dee dabba
Yes.
die. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so on that same album, they made a song called My Console, and it's all about their favorite PlayStation games.
hmm
That's all it is. And it's 4 minutes of them just repeating, like, I think they mentioned, like, Metal Gear
Oh, dear
and
God, I gotta look this up.
Resident Evil, Ridge Racer, and
Oh,
just some games, like, you haven't heard of for...
My God. The opening line is, "We're gonna play the game, the PlayStation, all day with Metal Gear Solid 3 and Omega Boost to Resident Evil. Just play for fun because we got it going on." And then it just then it lists off Tekken 3, Metal Gear Solid, Resident Evil, Gran Turismo, Omega Boost, Bloody Roar, X-Files, Another World, come on, Ridge Racer, Odd World. We got a living. That came into our possession.
Winning 11, yeah, they were throwing some stuff. Now, to their credit, they mentioned some games that are part of series that are still happening now, so
Yeah,
kudos
Resident
to
Evil's
them.
still very much going on.
Yeah, but not so much Omega Boost or Bloody Roar or Oddworld or So there were some stinkers in there, and X Files, like, okay, like, throw a licensed game in there, no problem. But
Yeah.
the reason I bring that up is that if you ever want to just hear something awesomely bad, or if you want to like rickroll someone, but not
Yeah.
with Never Gonna Give You Up,
Yeah.
My Console is the way to go.
All right, so we've been going for a lot longer than I think both you and I sort of figured. Not that's a bad thing, but I know
No,
you
not
got-
at all.
I know you got busy things to do, so I don't want to keep you any longer. I know you plugged Justice League. Is there anything else you want to plug before we head out here?
Oh, I think I'm good, man. It was great hanging out with you, and thanks for asking me to be part of this. And I just I'm so excited that you're putting out some good content there for everyone to listen to, and I think it's a fantastic thing. So however long it's been, I've lost track of time.
Oh, I got the timer
It's-
I got the timer on my end. Don't worry. Don't worry.
Yeah,
It's we're good. Hey, don't worry. Don't worry. If it, just for the record, if this kept going, it's 2 episodes. That's fine. I don't have to worry about getting another guest for another week. We're good.
Hey, man, I live to please. So if I
There you go.
get you a part 2,
Yeah, we're good. Like, it's one of those bits where it's like, do I just go? Do you want to come back next week? We can keep going this way. We don't have to stop. What are you talking about?
yeah. Well, hey, man, whatever the topic, feel free to hit me up whenever. I'd love to be part of it again in the future.
Yeah. Hey,
And,
don't worry. We'll get you on. We'll have you on soon. We'll have you on again. Don't worry. We'll get you on closer, probably to game day, and give you that little push you need.
Hey, that sounds great. And you know what? With all your, you're working on YouTube channel and everything, I'm thinking about starting one myself soon. So might
Yeah,
be
there
picking
you
your
go.
brain about that. Yeah.
Let me tell you. Thumbnails. Let me tell you.
Yeah,
Hey, your
yeah,
your graphics, you and Mr. Flox on final here. You got the foot in the door with those things.
that's true.
I,
We got a bit of a head start, but
I let me tell you, don't let him know I said this, but I'm insanely jealous that he literally is in a household with two graphic designers. So that man's start off point was on way above most people's ground floor, and I'm
yeah,
so jealous.
you work with what you have, and I know he's got a graphic design degree himself, so it's just they've got that on lock, and they're creative people by nature, and so it's like production value sky high with them, and Fox on Final is just a fantastic broadcast, and
I
their
I
format's amazing.
Yeah, I know. One of the things too, and I know we keep saying I'm gonna wrap it up, but this is my final thought. This is my final thought. Something like that, and I'm gonna put it in the description. For he streams Sunday nights at what 7 ish.
Yes, Sunday
Let
nights
me
at 7.
let me
Yeah.
tell you, if you are a person who likes things creatively, he by I was telling people at work. I have a buddy at work who streams, and I told him
Yeah.
what I told one of them what they do. He goes, "Wait, what?" So I'm gonna explain this really quick. Quick shout out to my homie Fox on Final. He streams Microsoft Flight Simulator, and while mid-flight, going wherever you're going, he plays a game as in-flight entertainment, and it's by far the greatest idea I have ever heard because I am so shocked that no one has thought of this before, or at least done it to like that level, because it is the greatest thing I have ever witnessed.
It's such a good format. It fits very well, and it fills a niche that Microsoft Flight Simulator, like the popular content there, it's not fulfilling that. He saw it because Bradley is very invested in just piloting, and
Yeah,
Flight Simulator is his hobby, but it's becoming his passion too. And so he saw that other people were streaming it, and so at first he would watch it to see like, okay, what can I do to be a better pilot myself?
yep,
But then he noticed that the content was all very samey, and so he's like,
yeah.
okay, well,
On
maybe my wife's a gamer, my buddy Yoshi's a gamer, so
Yep.
he's thinking about all this, and he's like, okay, let me stream for about 2 hours. So I will pick flight plans that I can wrap up in about 2 hours, and that gives me about 20 to 40 minutes for that in-flight entertainment for that second game. And not only has that worked well, like playing single player stuff, but I mean, a bunch of us played Among Us a
I,
couple weeks
I
ago.
gotta jump in that if you guys are doing that this week. Get your buddy.
You know, I think it's on tap for this Sunday. So, and he's got a Discord, so people are suggesting flight plans
How's that
for
work?
him to
Okay.
do. And he's oh, I should say so he's been playing Spider-Man Miles Morales in
Yeah,
between Among Us.
I caught part of that. Yeah, and he did a little
Yeah,
smash.
yeah, so he got to 50 subs on YouTube last Sunday, and he said if we get to 50 subs, Yoshi and I are going to show up in a future Fox on Final broadcast
In
wearing
Spider-Man
Spider-Man
suits.
outfits. So I think he's at 52 subscribers. So yeah, he hit that, and so now he's got to show up and be Spider-Man, and it's going to be a good time. But
Yeah.
Bradley is also new to the Justice League this year. This is his first year being part of the team. And I love that because, like I said, him and his wife are so creative. Their branding, the niche that they're filling with Flight Simulator, the content, there's nothing like it.
Mhm.
And all that creativity and the people they know, like come game day this year, like that's gonna reach a lot of people. So
Yep.
super excited to see what'll happen with that.
And a quick update on his sub count. He's at 56 subs as of basic 7 p.m. on a Wednesday evening. So this will go up a week later. So I'm sure he'll probably be closer to 70 or 80.
Yeah, that's probably a good bet. I on our team Discord, I told everybody to give him a sub
I know.
during the broadcast.
I gotta post this playlist in there, or I'll send it to you and put it in there.
Sounds good. I'll let you know. Our channel, our team channel, Justice League, is probably going to move over to YouTube at some point soon, and want to do like a rebrand and a relaunch. So I'll keep you posted on that.
Have fun with that.
Um,
That I think honestly that with you being creative and having that's one thing. Like, let me tell you, as like the grindy YouTuber, um, like having that stuff in your back pocket and having being able to be like, oh, I got Brad who's good at the graphics. I got you know I don't you got the social media guy. Like having all that in your back pocket while going into this is yards and way better than like some people are gonna get because there's
Yeah,
like the first I've been doing this for a month and let me tell you I've stared at my screen going okay how do I do more of this like how do we make that first leap how do we
yeah,
the track to get monetization where it's 1,000 subs and 1,000 hours watched it's like okay I'm at 4 hours and 7 subs like how do we keep going there what it's like watching like Fox and I'm going okay what's Brad doing that I'm not doing what's like in my niche with MLB The Show it's like okay what are these top guys about who are the top channels on YouTube it's like what are they doing what can I do differently and it's like
yeah,
okay what
and
how does this work and all that
yeah, and you hit on something really well. I mean, it's like when we're looking to become skilled at something, it helps so much to see what other people are doing, and at some point, you want to emulate what they do, but you want it to be unique to you.
yep
Because some things that will work for really popular streamers or content creators won't work for us because it's just what is working for them is that they're true to themselves. It's not that they've polished their persona; it's that they're being very genuine, and they're very in tune with who they are and what their strengths are. So I think that a lot of it is developing skills for ourselves, but then also reaching out to other people. And I've made this mistake before where I just thought, oh, it's all on me. I have to, okay, let's say I want to write a book and self publish it. Well, I have to do everything. And I did that years ago and I burned myself out on that. And I was like, oh, I don't want to write books anymore. I'm burned out.
yeah
Like, I'm not creative. But
no
then,
no
it took me years to realize, like, hold on a second, reach up, reach around, like, talk to people that are where you want to be or they're skilled in ways that you're not. And
yep
if you're aware of a weakness you have, don't try to hide it. Like just tell
let it
people
be
like,
known
hey, yeah, you are very skilled at this. Like let's collaborate. Maybe I could learn something
yep
from you, or maybe you can. And I mean, well, for YouTube, it's a little tricky, right? Because when everyone first starts out, they are kind of doing everything. But
yeah you're
the more established streamers, like they pay somebody to edit their videos. So
yeah
you get to a
I
point, but
yeah, this is
yeah.
the last point here because we're talking like we're gonna end this. We keep dragging on, so I think this might actually be a two-part episode. But I'm totally fine with this because this conversations with you are always the most entertaining part of it.
Yeah, man.
so,
I love
but
talking, like shooting the breeze with you. It's
I
great.
no, I know we don't do this a lot. We got to do that more. I know COVID and everything, but
Totally,
but
man.
yeah, no.
Yeah.
Like on the last sort of note here, because I know I keep saying like time, but I keep looking, it keeps going. No, but I mean I don't know. But like I guess the last wrap it up here, and we'll call it a day or a night here. Um,
Yeah.
no, but I mean yeah, like starting off again, it's I remember like I hit some points creatively where it's just like, oh God, what am I doing? Trust me, if I didn't, God honest truth, if the the announcement for MLB The Show 21 didn't drop and have this entire new wave of like content and having like an actual discernible date of when I need to make the jump, like
Yeah.
I would have been like I would have lost my mind
Yeah, for sure. And
because
but
now it's like you have that date. Like I
yeah.
have a date. April 16th is when I have to make the jump, and it's like we're hitting the ground. I'm like we're hitting the ground running on April 16th. Whatever we're on that, we're jumping the next level. I don't know what in the world that level is, but I'm jumping a level.
But you know what? That's true. Like you gotta how to ride that wave when it arrives, and that's great. And I would say too, like for everybody listening, like if you're trying to do anything creative, you want to create content, stream, whatever, social media, all the above. Like just respect the process and don't feel like you have to be further along.
Yep.
If you expect to be at a certain point at a certain time, you're just setting yourself up for resentment.
Yeah.
Where instead, like, if you respect the process, like, it doesn't matter how long it takes, because the reward is in the work. And that probably
Yeah.
sounds horrible on some level, but
But
really,
it's
like, you
true.
love what you do, because otherwise, what else would you do? You'd hang your hat on some reward that may or may not ever come, or at least is going to be a while. So, if
Yeah.
you're in it for the money, don't do it.
You're never
If you're
gonna
in
win.
it,
Yeah.
yeah, if you're in it expecting, to make money eventually, but then, after the first year, you're not, like, bringing in, it's, content creation is not your day job, or creativity isn't your day job, you know, and you expected it to be, that's when, like, bitterness and burnout
Yeah.
happens. And so,
Yeah.
just to curb that is just, show up, do a little bit every day, and
Hmm.
even if it's one step on that day, that's still a step
Yeah.
closer.
The
So,
the first MLB, the guy who got me to buy my PlayStation and start playing the show, he made the comment a few weeks ago that, or because every once in a while, like, people apply for partnership on Twitch, and a lot
yeah.
of them fail. And he made the comment. He said it took him 4 years to get partner on Twitch. He took him
Okay.
5 years to basically quit his job and do streaming full time. And he's like, this stuff does not come overnight. He goes, you're going to be starting with one guy watching you, one guy subbing to you, and that's fine, because it's one of those things where I think, especially like my generation and the next generation, we have this weird thing of, like, looking at guys like PewDiePie and Markiplier and Jacksepticeye and
Yeah.
Critical and all these other guys, and it's like, if you ask any of them, and I mean any of them, the one thing they'll always say is they all started off with zero. They all started off at the same spot, hitting play and starting off with an awkward channel, doing the exact same thing I'm doing right now, you're doing right now. What
Yeah.
everyone starts off at zero, and all you can do is just keep plugging along, and just keep doing it, because eventually you're either, not everyone's gonna hit 1 million subs, not everyone's gonna hit 1,000 subs.
Sure.
You can keep chugging along, and sometimes it's just not gonna work. It might not work. There's no guarantees in anything you're doing. There's no guarantees that you're gonna keep create whether it's creating content, I don't, like, being an athlete,
No.
doing anything. Like, there's no guarantee that you're gonna hit that high level. I mean, are there gonna be people who are gonna seek out your content? Yeah, but I mean, you might just be at a 200 subs, 300 subs for a while. And I mean,
Yeah.
it's sort of like,
It's true.
I mean, we were talking like Stockser, where it's the whole joke of, like, diamond strong hands, where it's like, this is the final point. There was a book I
Yeah.
read. It was called The Secret. It was called The Answer. I think it was called The Answer. I can't see my bookshelf from where I'm sitting, and it was the most annoying book ever, because here's the I can summarize this entire book in about 3 sentences. We're not going to tell you what the secret is, but if you're smart, you can figure it out. And I thought it was the dumbest thing. I'm like, why are you going around about? Why do you keep going around about this? And the entire concept of this book is the idea of, if you stop digging, you're never going to hit oil. That was the entire concept of the book, was you don't know where the goal is, because
Yeah.
if you stop digging, you're never going to hit it. The worst you're going to do is keep digging. Like, that
Yeah.
is the absolute worst thing you're going to do, is you're going to keep digging. Like, that's it.
And
You're
and
going to keep working.
that's not a bad place to be. And I mean, if you put the time in, like, you can't help but get better.
No.
And it might take longer than planned, but you know what? For the people who do it for the love of it, and maybe they do want to make it profitable, but they're disciplined with it, but discipline isn't the missing ingredient. Discipline, becomes like something you pat yourself on the back for, but it's not the be all end all. It's the love of what you're doing,
Yeah.
and that's what keeps you doing it when you've been stuck at like 50
Yeah.
subs or whatever, and they'd be doing it even if they had 2 subs.
Yeah, I mean, what's crazy, but I mean, what's even crazier too is, like, there are guys who I follow. They're not big in the MLB streaming community or MLB community by any stretch of the imagination, but one guy, he pumps out graphics designs for channels for redesigns, and he
Oh,
pumps
okay.
these out and he puts them up there, and he's gotten good at like graphic design. I don't know if he actually does graphic design, but that's been his thing, and he keeps putting out these things every couple of days where it's like, oh, redesign for blank channel, and he's got a channel. I'm like, did he get good at graphic design from working on a YouTube channel, and that's where he's making money? Like, he made the comment he's been furloughed for like a year, and I'm like, so wait a minute, you've been furloughed and put time into YouTube, and now you're doing graphics if you weren't doing it before? Like, what happened? Like, like there's these small successes where it's like, you find out like, I'm good at making graphics. Who would have thunk?
Yeah.
I'm good at soundboarding. Who would have thunk? Like, there's so many small little victories that if you keep looking at like a PewDiePie where it's like, I don't even know what a sub count is, like millions. Like,
Oh yeah, yeah.
like one of the
Easily.
craziest things I read somewhere was somebody interviewed PewDiePie, and
Yeah.
the one thing he was saying was, and he goes, the one thing that is weird to tell people is, when I look at sub decline, I don't get to look at it in terms of tens. He goes, I'm looking at it in terms of thousands and 100,000s. Like, I don't get to look
Yeah.
at it like, and it's like, he says that, and I'm like, that is mind-boggling that you're looking at it in terms of 10,000. Like, your logs of when you look at Social Blade, it's like 10,000 lost, 20,000 gain. I'm like, that is a mind-boggling number for somebody. Where it's like, he's looking at numbers that most people won't even see in terms of YouTube. It's like, good
Yeah.
God, man, like, that's
Yeah.
nutty.
And I guess my last point on that is that like there, if you see the numbers, like it's from our end of it, it's like, oh man, like all those numbers, like that. If I had the wrong attitude, that would drive me nuts to
Oh,
lose like 10,
absolutely.
20,000 subscribers. Like I'd be freaking out, and it's like, okay, hold on a second. No, like they're not doing it looking over their shoulder at, because if you did that all the time, like you would be self-conscious and that would show in your content. So you wouldn't
Yeah.
even get to that point that they are. So it's like, okay, throw caution to the wind. You do you, learn and hone it as you go for sure, but yeah, and I think that's the value. And you said, did this guy get good at graphic design while he was furloughed? Like he was doing YouTube things, and guess what? Like all of
It
these,
works.
you maybe those are the twists and turns to the path, because creative success is never a straight line, right? So, what do you learn along the way that has value in other industries or other ways? And so, it's
Yeah,
all
I
about that
mean,
pursuit of, getting paid to do what you love.
yeah, I mean, I made the comment at one point. I think it was might have been on Twitter, just a blank statement, but I said halfway through this, I said, whenever this stuff lifts, the separation between those who were trying the new thing and trying to figure out another avenue in case the world stops again, versus those that
Yeah.
didn't. Coming out of this, it's gonna be night and day, because you're gonna have a group of people who are like, what did you do during quarantine in 2020? Oh, I was doing X, Y, and Z. I started my own small YouTube channel, and we're pumping things into that, and we were doing that from 2021 start, because I saw like we were gonna be in this another 6 months, and I wanted to throw my time into that, versus the guy who's like, oh, I didn't really do much of anything. Like, I really do think you're gonna see those people where it's gonna be this segment of people who are like, I took a chance because I couldn't do anything else, and the other side's gonna
Sure.
be, I still worked, but I didn't do much with the time allotted. And I'm not trying to say that as like a negative thing, that, oh, you got those people who may have taken the risk versus those who didn't. Don't misconstrue that as me trying to be like, oh, those people are better. No, I get it. Like, sometimes you do have to take that step back and just be like, what am I doing? And maybe that is the season of regrouping, and then you take that momentum. But it really is going to be that whole thing of, what are you going to do? Because things are going to go back to some sense of normalcy, and it's, what are you going to do in that new time
Definitely.
period? And that's the crazy thing is, I know it's hard right now on February 3rd, thinking, oh, we're going to do back to normal and all this stuff's going to be, but it's going to be. It's
It
like,
will
what are
be
you
at
gonna
some
do when
point.
you? And it's like, what are you gonna say when somebody asks, "What did you do during What were you doing during quarantine?" Because you might be like, "Oh, I didn't like." Are you gonna be like, "I didn't do anything," or are you gonna be like, "Oh, I did this because I had the time"?
Yeah, and yeah, some people have needed the time to recover. Some people have needed that time, this time of self discovery. Like, wow, maybe I lost my job, but only realize now how bad of a fit it was for
Oh
me,
yeah,
and now I can start over. And if people came out of this like having to recover emotionally and sometimes physically if they contracted COVID or whatever else, then like, hey, that's great because now they're ready for the next thing. And
yep.
I don't want people to come out of this feeling like they're so far behind other people.
No,
And I say that because sometimes I struggle with that,
yeah.
and I don't want to feel that way
Look,
because I know that doesn't motivate me.
yeah,
Like,
being comparativeness is so discouraging and so enticing at the same time. Like there's nothing
yeah,
what's crazy is one of my Jake, one of my best friends, he and I have had very different career paths but the same degree, and it's like I made the comment at some point a couple of years ago where it was like we were sort of like one or two steps behind each other for a while, then all of a sudden it was like boom, he sprinted ahead, and it's like, what happened? And for it takes forever to be like, all right, he's doing this, what am I doing? Oh, I'm doing like then I'm doing this, okay, like, but it's like you get in that mindset of, whoa, that guy just sprinted ahead, what happened? And it's hard to get out of that mindset of like, oh, he's ahead of me, he's way better off. It's like, but if you're so focused on what's ahead, you're gonna miss what's right in front of you, and that's so hard sometimes.
yeah, I totally agree, man. And I think that a lot of people, if they haven't grappled with it yet, they will with this season, and that's okay. That's totally okay.
It's okay
I
not
think
to be
that
okay.
yeah, absolutely. And yeah, is it a cliche? Yeah, but cliches are cliches because they're true.
Yep.
And a lot of people have had to realize, they've lost the things that gave them identity and purpose and progress because of COVID. And so they're like, okay, well, what's left?
Yep.
Like I hung my hat on these things and now it's gone. Now what?
Hmm.
And that seems like the scariest thing in the world at the time. But then, things turn around, or it's just time to sit and heal, or fall apart for a bit to know how to kind of get back together. Like all of these things, like there's a purpose to it. So, you know, kudos to anyone who's putting out content, yourself included, in this time, because you know that that suggests like a level of health, right? Like, you have a desire to put content out there for other people, and that takes
Yeah.
energy.
Yeah. I mean,
And
I have
yeah,
the desire to make whatever. I don't know how long my content is, but like I just hope, and I've heard others say this, and I try to be as genuine as I can. Where it's like I hope that 11 minutes like you watched was the best 11 minutes of your day. Like honestly and truthfully, like that's all I can hope for is like
mm,
for that 10 minutes, 15, 20 minutes that I got you to forget about whatever garbage is going on, whether like whatever was going on, because I mean you get community around these guys, and it's like whether it's a radio show, a podcast, that you get to forget for 10 minutes what's going on, and you get to have a laugh, or at whether it's my
yeah,
expense or something. Like there's value to that, and that's you know I think sometimes a lot of us forget like those aspects and all that stuff where it's like you don't know what's going on, and all you get is like that little window, that little reprieve, and in that window, you know, you never know. I mean, you've done it for a decade with chalk and everything else, and it's like that brief window. It's like there's a lyric in a metal song where he's talking about tours, and bands with tours, they constantly are like they're never home, they never do this, and like, they're spiritual, but one of the things he made the comment of was like he goes, for a moment I thought I saw the sun today, and I needed that. And it's like, I hope that in that moment, like
wow,
that's the sun, like that's that moment where it's like I needed that break. And whether it's content creating, podcasting, I don't know, whatever you do, drawing, um, I don't know what else is like anything creatively, like you get casting,
yeah,
drawing, whatever. It's like you
All
know,
of it.
whatever that is, like that brief moment of sunshine in like a cloudy day, you know, that's all that's all any of us are here for, content wise. It's like, hey, I want to give you 10 minutes where you're like, this is the best 10 minutes of my day from that standpoint. And
That's awesome, dude.
and let me tell you, the 80 whatever viewers and 7 subs, hey, I'm here for it, man. If that's that's the best part of your day, hey, I'll take it. Whether you get it from me, you get it from any of the other guys. Like, let me tell you, any one of them will tell you, if you told any of these guys, whether they're PewDiePie, I keep going PewDiePie because he's big, but any of these guys are like, hey, you got me through this, let me tell you, they'll be blown away, because it's weird when you realize what content can do to you. What content and just putting out, like, whether you think is bad, like someone's gonna be like, hey, that got me through this dark time. And whether you're small, you're big, you're in the middle, you're helping somebody get through something in that brief little window. Is that sappy enough?
That's so true. That is so true, man. And thank you for putting out content and putting it out for people, because when we get that brief moment of sunshine, sometimes because life is weird, life is messy. So when you get that brief moment of sunshine, sometimes when we're like low energy, we're kind of on the defensive, or life has us on our heels, you get that little ray of sunshine from other people, and that's such a great pick me up. And even if you feel like things are going well, and you're taking charge in your life, and you want to put something good back into it, those brief lights of sunshine are still there, but it looks like inspiration, and it looks like and it's easier to catch those rays of sunshine when we're already doing the work of being consistently creative. Sometimes we fall into the trap of waiting till lightning strikes to inspire us to get started, and or to continue. And it's like, no, just do the work for the love of the work, because you're accomplishing something. You feel satisfied at the end of the day because you're doing this. And then when inspiration hits, you're already ready to catch that, because you already got your sleeves rolled up. So
yeah. So we're gonna wrap up here. This is definitely gonna be two
sounds
parts,
good, man.
which is fine. But I think leaving, because we're talking about it, I just want to actually read it. So it's from August Burns Red. It's called Spirit Breaker. It's a little on the loud side. I apologize, but this portion's spoken, and the lyric I was referencing is, yesterday I saw the sun shining. It appeared for a few minutes just after 2. For a moment I found myself smiling, as if those short rays of light were enough to get me by. Maybe that was enough. Thank God. I needed that. I surely needed that. And I'm not trying to end it like on a sad note or anything. But
that wasn't sad. I mean, no, it's good. I think
like,
it's hopeful.
Or heavier tone, but it's like, I mean, for someone who is the creative mindset, it's stuff like that where it's like lyric, like you like those brief moments of sun, in an otherwise gloomy day. Sometimes you don't know what that's gonna be. A lot of times, and I don't know. I think sometimes we all need those rays of sunshine just to get us by. But
that's right, man. And it's great to if we could do anything to help provide that for other people, like, all the better.
Exactly. All right, Sean. We've been going at this for literally 2 hours.
Yeah, we have.
All right, man. I think you plug Justice League. I'll have all those links down below in part 1, and what this will probably be part 2. So, check out Justice League. I'll have the. You want to plug the website one last time for everyone?
Oh, for sure. extra-life.org is the Extra Life site, and if you want to add /team/JLA to that, you'll go to our team page and find out more about us specifically. We've got about 10 people signed up already for this team for this year's campaign, and you could also catch us on Twitch at twitch.tv/JustUsLeagueOfAwesome. And we should probably have that in text, because that's a lot, but
yeah.
We'll have that in some form.
I think I still have the list somewhere. If not, I'm subscribed to all of it, so I can dig it up real easy. But you guys,
Perfect.
I know you and Bryke have been streaming Forza for now. I don't know when you're gonna finish that up.
That's right. It never ends.
Does it? I was like, I don't know.
We keep. It's an open world racing game, so we keep winning races and more keep popping up. So I'm not sure if they ever ran out of content to put in it. But yes, we do usually stream on Sundays around 4 p.m. and sometimes we'll go past 6. And that'll kind of segue into Fox on Final at 7 p.m. on Sunday nights. But yeah, we've been streaming Sunday afternoons, and you can catch us on Twitch at the URL.
Yeah, and I'm sure once you guys get the YouTube up, we'll throw that in there and all that fun stuff. But it's been great talking to you for these last couple hours. And I think this is the first that we've talked in a while, so I think maybe that's why we went so long.
It was good, man. It's making up for lost time. And
no, we definitely did.
Yeah, thanks for having me. And any other time you want to jam, dude, just let me know, and I'd love to swing by.
Of course, you're always welcome. You're always welcome in the shop.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
All right, man. We'll catch you next time, Sean.
All right, you got it, man.